Welcome back to Houston Life. Are you ready to discover your next great read? Okay, perfect. Maybe you'll find it at the Heights' newest bookstore, Good on Paper. It's on 19th Street.
I am so excited for this. It's a family-owned bookstore created with the community and love for reading in mind. And joining us today is co-owner Chris Hysinger to share a few of the newest books he's most excited about in the new year. And there's something for everyone. Chris, we were just talking before the show, Tessa and I, about how starting a new book or getting back into reading is always a great New Year's resolution.
Absolutely. And we really pushed to open this right before the holidays. And I think, setting a New Year's goal to read more books is high on a lot of people's priority list.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that you guys had a lot of the holiday themes, so I found you guys on TikTok, so I was kind of going through it. Because you always want to support local, right?
Right.
The more local bookstores, the better for the community. What has been the feedback so far of people getting in to Good on Paper?
So the feedback has been great. Houston has independent bookstores. We have great partners at Brazos and Blue Willow, but the Heights really seem to be an area that was underserved. There's no local bookstore, and I tell you, the response has proven that out because we have just so many people from the community are coming to our bookstore every day. A lot of them are finding out about us as they walk around the neighborhood. And, we want to treat our customers like our neighbors, which they are.
Hey, this is a perfect spot to do it. The Heights, you said 19th and Rutledge. This is what that neighborhood is known for. And I love the fact that you got in there and opened up a bookstore because it is a community effort. I think that people can go there. They can find new and used books.
We only do new books, but we're trying to offer a curated experience. In addition to books, we want to have a lot of events. We've supported Houston Heights Interfaith Ministries with one of our weekends. We did the Houston Public Library Heights branch, and this weekend we're doing Houston Audubon to celebrate National Bird Day. So we want to try and work into our business supporting local charities that help Houstonians.
That's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Speaking of birds, right?
That's exactly right. Good pun.
Okay, so you have some books that you think that these are going to be the ones to look out for in the coming months, like the hot new reads of 2025, I guess?
Yeah, but exactly. So the first one is The Love Haters by Catherine Sinner.
Yep.
She's a Houston author, and she's very popular. This is what I would call a romantic comedy.
Okay.
The other book is a sequel to the Hunger Games series by Susan Collins, which is kind of a young adult fantasy, which a lot of people will be looking forward to, called Sunrise on the Reaping. And then, the final book we're really looking forward to is The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, who wrote the very popular Mexican Gothic. And that's more of a horror, supernatural type book.
Is this a fair question to ask you? What is your favorite genre of book to read? There are so many great ones. I don't care if they're fiction or nonfiction. It really immerses you into a world in your own mind as you're reading these works, right?
Yeah, so me personally, I really like kind of classic fantasy and science fiction and historical fiction. That's probably not the mainstay of our general customer, but one of the great things about working in a bookstore and what I found out, because this is my first time to work in a bookstore, is you get exposed to so many different kinds of books. All of our staff have their own interests, so you come in and they can make recommendations of the books they like and hopefully open your eyes to something that maybe you wouldn't have considered otherwise.
It's also a great place to go for kids, right? Because there's not a ton of activities. I find like moms are constantly looking for things to do with their kids that are kid-friendly and they can maybe do something for themselves. You guys do a story time. Tell us about that.
So yes, we're starting up in January most of our events. One of them is going to be a weekly toddler story time where parents of small children can come in and go through a reading. We have a very large kids section because the Heights has a lot of families. And then we're also going to be starting up book clubs in January. Those will generally be in the evening where we'll have a group of people that reads a book and talks about it and kind of just builds community that way.
Okay, before we go, though, we have to mention the Urban Bird Walk because this is really cool. Tell us about leading up to the event coming up on Sunday.
So this Sunday is National Bird Day, and I own another business called Land, Sea, and Sky, which sells a lot of binoculars to the birding community.
I've been in there before. Yes. It's a great store.
So I've owned that business since 2016, and we do a lot with Houston Audubon through that business, and so we're partnering with Land, Sea, and Sky and the Houston Audubon to have this bird walk. Boardwalk on Sunday. 10% of our proceeds from sales on that day will go to benefit Houston Audubon, and we're just going to have a little walk around the Houston Heights, mainly for new birders, but all experience levels are welcome to see what we can see.
What can we
in the
see?
neighborhood. Well, it's winter in Houston, but you'll see, like the cedar waxwing is a popular winter visitor, the yellow-rumped warbler, and of course the usuals, the mockingbirds, the blue jays, the cardinals. So
I saw the
basic
cardinals. There was a cardinal that landed on my window when I was getting coffee this morning.
Yeah,
I was like, does anybody see this? It's just me.
It's a great thing about a bird walk. Sometimes you'll see nothing, but sometimes you'll see something completely unexpected. So we'll have to figure out what happens on Sunday.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and Chris, real quick before we go, you're a co-owner with your wife who is a little shy. So he came to talk, but she really is like the bookworm. She is the passion really behind
She is
this.
the passion behind this bookstore.
What's her name? Let's give her a quick shout out.
Her name is Anna Henry, and this has been her vision, and we definitely work. It's actually a family business. We have several of our kids involved in the running of this bookstore. My mother works at the bookstore on occasion, so it's
so
definitely
wonderful.
a family-owned business.
Family affair. There you guys are right there opening that bookstore.
I love
So
it.
cool. Very, very cool. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all stop in there. Get your read on in 2025. Chris Hysinger, good on paper. You can find him and his family on 19th Street in the Heights. We're going to put a link. We've provided a link on our website, HoustonLife.tv, so you can just connect with them. Just go to the Scene on HL section.
I love it. I've got some new books to read, Tessa, for sure.